If you're in the market for a well-balanced, compact, performance luxury SUV, it's pretty hard to beat the entire package of an Audi SQ5. Built off of the company's very popular Q5, it is a stately, understated performance SUV that doesn't look fast, which is good if you're trying to hide from the police with its turbocharged V6 and quattro all-wheel drive system. Now, like so many other manufacturers, Audi is looking to go fully electric by the next decade, and they're going to do so, of course, with a new family of electric vehicles. But if you're looking to replace your SQ5, you'll be looking at this vehicle. This is the 2025 Audi SQ6 e-tron. It's built off of their new PPE architecture, which means it comes with a 100 kilowatt-hour battery pack, up to 509 horsepower underneath the hood, and up to 275 miles of all-electric range. So as you can see, this week we are testing out this SQ6 e-tron in the Prestige trim, painted in Daytona gray pearl effect. And the big question I want answered: has Audi successfully delivered an electric version of their very popular SQ5 SUV? Stay tuned to find out. So before we start talking about the unique styling details of the SQ6 versus a Q6, let me first go ahead and pop the hood and show you guys what kind of storage you're looking at underneath here. Because like so many other EVs, the SQ6 does offer a front trunk. Although it is not the largest, it is nice how at least Audi gives you the option for it. Now what you're looking at underneath here is around 2 cubic feet of storage space. Now there is a little bit of a partition here that you can take out to expand the storage, or you can leave it in if you want to have, 2 different storage areas. But since we're underneath here, let's go ahead and talk about the powertrain specs. Now, unlike the Q6, which offers a choice between either rear-wheel drive or dual motor quattro all-wheel drive, the SQ6 only comes with dual motor all-wheel drive, which means you get a maximum of 483 horsepower and 631 pound-feet of torque. Now, I said maximum earlier. However, if you guys put the vehicle in its launch control mode, it does ramp the power up to 509 horsepower. So that's a pretty healthy 53 horsepower jump over the regular Q6 e-tron. And if you guys are also keeping score, that power figure essentially matches this car's platform mate, which is a Porsche Macan EV4S. So Audi and Porsche, again, are under the same umbrella. So you essentially have nearly 510 horsepower. And again, if you're trading in an SQ5, which that vehicle I think topped out at around 349 horsepower. I haven't had a chance to drive the newest version of the SQ5 just yet. That is a pretty healthy jump in power. It all goes out through a 1-speed reduction gear transmission. And like I said earlier, electronic quattro all-wheel drive is going to be standard on all SQ6 e-tron models. Now, it draws its power from a 100 kilowatt-hour battery pack, which around 94.4 is usable. And like I said earlier, up to 275 miles of range. That's around 20 miles less range versus the Q6 e-tron Quattro that we tested a couple months ago. So that's not the best range, but it certainly is a usable amount. This vehicle does run on the 800-volt architecture, which means it's one of the quicker charging EVs. Audi claims this model should be good for 0 to 60 in 4.1 seconds, which is, a nice improvement over the 4.9 that Audi claims for the Q6. We got 4.35, however, in the last Q6 e-tron Quattro. So I suspect this car will be a sub 4-second car. Top speed is around 143 miles an hour, so it's around 13 miles an hour faster than the Q6. Towing capacity is also healthy at 4,400 pounds, and as this car sits, it weighs in at around 5,300 pounds, around 100 pounds heavier versus the regular Q6 e-tron Quattro. But let's go ahead and close up the hood here and talk about the exterior styling. Now, my particular test car is painted in Daytona gray pearl effect for an extra $650. It is a signature Audi color. I don't love how it's another drab gray Audi, but let's go ahead and talk about the exterior styling, which, as you can see, looks pretty similar to the Q6 e-tron with a couple of differences. My test car does have the black optics package for an extra $650, which adds some more gloss black elements, of course, to the front fascia. You have the anthracite new Audi logos, of course. You have their single frame grille, which again technically doesn't have any openings. Instead, it just has these little hexagon diamond textures in the grille with some gloss black. The headlights, you can see a completely new design language. This is their signature matrix design full LED headlights, which have 8 different LED light signatures to choose from. For the daytime running lights, you also have a sequential LED turn signal, and then you can see very trendy design where the headlights are actually divorced from the daytime running light. I don't actually like this look on an Audi. It kind of loses a little bit of the Audi identity. I like how this area here, however, is very intricate. But this, to me, looks like it could be styled very similar to so many other cars. Down here, you can see there are some fake openings but some different textures, of course. There are some functional openings down here. There's the radar sensor for the Audi Adaptive Cruise. The Prestige package also includes a full 360 camera, and you also get integrated parking sensors. This vehicle has an adaptive air suspension, where it's in normal mode, it'll have roughly 8.5 inches of ground clearance, but you can jack it up by an inch, I believe, in its off-road setting. But overall, let me know in the comment section below what you guys think of the design. I'm personally not a fan of the split headlight design, especially on an Audi. I think the Q5 did a better job in terms of its new look without having to go to that trendy split headlight look. But as you can see, moving around the side profile, even though this is a Q6, it's technically a compact-sized SUV with a wheelbase of 113.9 and an overall length of 187.4. This is a couple inches longer than the previous generation Q5, but I believe it's also around the same as the new one because the new one didn't get any bigger. So it's a little bit longer, but it's still very much compact in its dimensions. I think the profile here is nice, although some would say it looks like a Ford Edge, which is kind of an insult to an Audi, but I think with the SQ6, you have better looking wheels. This is about a half an inch shorter than the Porsche Macan EV, but it's also around an inch taller and an inch wider, which kind of surprised me considering this is the Audi. I didn't expect it to be wider. You can see the SQ6 has the availability of 21-inch alloy wheels. These are the wheels that you get with the black optics package. Love the kind of directional look with the twin color design. I also love the the red painted, it looks like a 6-piston brake caliper with slightly larger brakes. It's riding on a 255 by 45 R21 Bridgestone Turenza summer tire. The rears are even fatter at a 285. Remember, the Q6 tops out at a 20-inch wheel, so you have a bigger wheel, a fatter tire, more grip, obviously, and the adaptive air suspension is on this model. It has been tuned for the SQ6 to be sportier. I also love the full paint finish that you get along the entire side. There is some black trim there along the side skirt, but it is very tasteful. It looks good with the Daytona Gray Pearl Effect color. The mirrors are also black painted. That's included with the black optics package. They are power folding, integrated turn signals, and full 360 camera. There's also black along the window trim and the roof rails, of course. And then, as you can see, the panoramic sunroof is nice how it opens up to vent air, lets in a lot of light. It's standard on this model. A lot of EVs don't even offer a panoramic sunroof that opens, so that's really nice. Now, you also probably notice your charge port door is over here. There's technically 2 charge port doors. On the driver's side, you're gonna find the CCS combo, which basically allows you to DC fast charge this vehicle up to 270 kilowatts, allowing you to go from 10 to 80% in about 21 minutes. It also has a 9.6 kilowatt onboard charger. It'll take about 12 to 14 hours to charge on a level 2. The other side doesn't have the CCS combo. It just has the J1772. I imagine Audi will eventually adopt the J3400, the NACS plug. Most other competitors are going to that. As you can see, you have a power opening and closing door. I like how Audi gives you the option of 2 charge ports on either side of the vehicle. Now, looking at the rear, this is where some of you have complained it looks like a little bit like a Ford Edge in its silhouette. I kind of do see that. It's a little blobby, if I'm being honest. I actually think that Audi could have gone with a blockier design as opposed to this kind of curvy silhouette. The taillights are pretty nice. They are like an OLED design with full LEDs. You have sequential turn signals. The light signature back here also is interchangeable in 8 different styles, just like the front of the vehicle. The rear spoiler, as you can see, doesn't look any bigger. You have a third brake light right there with the rear wiper that sits in the middle of the back window. It would have been nice if Audi tucked it underneath the rear spoiler for a cleaner look. There's a very subtle SQ6 badge, which some of you have also expressed your dislike with the new Audi badging along with the new Audi logo. Again, that's all just going to be, it's gonna take a little bit of getting used to. Everything kind of changes at some point. I'm perfectly fine with the new badging. You can see the reverse light is down there in the lower portion. The rear bumper does look a little bit more aggressive. I also appreciate the wider look of the tires. They are significantly wider than the regular Q6. If you look at the cargo area, you can see a power liftgate with hands-free is included, and you get around 30.6 cubic feet of storage space with the seats up. As you can see, there's some nice storage to the side of the cargo area, and if you look underneath the floor, there's a pretty deep storage area there for the mobile charger, which is nice. You can also raise and lower the air suspension from back here to basically improve the loading height, and if you pull on this, you can see the rear seats do fold down. When you fold down both rear seats, you get a relatively flat cargo area and you get around 60 cubic feet of storage space, which 60 cubic feet is actually pretty usable. It certainly is going to be nice for those of you who need to expand the cargo area. It's also a well-finished cargo area, and I like how Audi gives you the convenience of opening the cargo area from the actual cargo area as opposed to going to the back seat to fold down like some competitors. So obviously Audi didn't really take very many risks with the exterior design of the new SQ6 e-tron, but what about the interior? This is again starting a new era for Audi of technology. But before we get inside, let me show you guys the key fob. As you can see, this is Audi's newest intelligent access key. There is an S badge here to let you know you have a sportier SQ6 as opposed to a Q6. You can see there's buttons here for lock, unlock. You can also power open the liftgate in addition to a panic function. No remote start from the fob, but if you have access to, I believe, your connected services app, you should be able to start the vehicle and ping the car from your smartphone. If you lock the door here, you can see the mirrors will electrically fold. It has the trademark chirp. The door handles also aren't those fussy retractable door handles, which I appreciate. The vehicle does not come with a walkaway auto lock or unlock feature. There's an area there where you attach that, tap that locks the door. If you want to unlock it, you just touch the back of the door handle. That will unfold the mirrors, and then the doors will unlock for you. Now, my particular test car doesn't have the best color combination. Obviously, we have the Daytona gray pearl effect, which is a very metallic-y pearl gray, which looks nice, especially in the sun, but we just have, of course, the standard black upgraded leather interior. Now, this upgraded leather is an extra $1,000, I believe. You have a 14-way power adjustable front seats with a massage feature. The massage feature is nice. I believe there's 3 different types of massages with 3 different types of intensities. There's the S badge there, of course, to let you know you have the sportier model. These seats look a little bit more aggressively bolstered than the Q6. I also love the diamond quilted stitching with the contrast look. It looks pretty nice. You can get this with a red interior, but it would look really good with the Daytona gray. My test car, as you can see, just has the black, so I would have preferred some color on the interior. It's kind of like a dark gray, so it's not super bright. You can see the door panel materials. This is where, again, Audi is showing a little bit of cost cutting here considering the price. The upper panel here has a slightly padded rubberized plastic, which kind of feels a little cheap, the graining material. I'm not loving that. There is some beautiful, nice Alcantara here with some contrast stitching. It's also nice and padded here. There's these new, kind of array of touch-sensitive glossy black piano buttons. Window controls have the typical clicky, high-quality Audi feel. I don't like how there's like an empty area here where this could have been a button. Typically, Audi used to put the door lock switches here. Now they've moved it over here. The door handles, you can see they are metal accented. You have the upgraded Bang & Olufsen stereo with the Prestige package. Down here it is hard touch plastic, decent storage over here. The audio system sounds good, which is important because there's no, engine for this car. But overall, the interior certainly looks very high tech. It just doesn't have that luxury material feel that I come to expect from Audi, so that's a little bit of a disappointment there. Now, getting inside, the vehicle has around 8.5 inches of ground clearance, so it has a nice, easy step-in height. And then once you get in, the car, like so many other EVs, will basically turn itself on because I've got the key fob on me. I've sat my butt in the seats, of course, so it turns itself on. As I shut the door, I also have to say, this is a little bit awkward because I want to grab here to close the door, but I actually have to grab here. So from afar, it's kind of an awkward reach. As I shut the door has a pretty solid sounding thunk. Ignore the rattle, that was actually my garage clicker. But there is no soft close feature with the doors. But once you're in here, you can hear the sound deadening. There's like an echo in this cabin where it kind of feels like you're sitting in a very nice, nice isolation chamber. You've got the new, of course, corporate Audi steering wheel with their new logo. Some people have expressed their, distaste in this actual new logo. I think it's fine. You just need to get used to it. It's got a flat bottom and a flat top design steering wheel. You have a power tilt telescoping, which gives you a good amount of adjustability and range. There are paddles here to control the regen braking. I think Audi gives you 2 different levels of regen in addition to giving you a B driving mode there, which gives you really strong engine braking or regen braking. There's also a really gorgeous heads-up display, which actually has augmented reality. The heads-up display in general looks fantastic, and in fact, if I can find out where I actually showed you the heads-up display or found it, there's the massage function there. There's so many different ways that you can adjust this screen here, so it's kind of irritating to see how many ways you can adjust it, but you can see this is, of course, their new virtual or digital cockpit display. As you can see, it has a combination of 3 screens. Now, the 3rd screen is basically included when you go for the Prestige package. This is called their digital stage. I'm sorry, not digital cockpit. It has their latest virtual cockpit infotainment display, which actually I find it to be a little bit of a downgrade compared to the previous generation. If you want to adjust the head-up display, you can kind of push this button over here. This is basically a 12 12-inch display. You have a 14.5-inch display over here, and then you have a 10.9-inch display over on the passenger side where you can basically watch movies, you can play video games, you have access to the Google Play Store. This runs off of Android Automotive. It has wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. I've shown you guys what that looks like in the Q6. This screen is pretty much being applied to almost every Audi product that's their latest generation. The steering wheel, like I mentioned, has really good adjustments so you can find a comfortable driving position. The switchgear feels pretty much the standard stuff. I don't particularly love all the touch-sensitive buttons that this car has adopted, but you do have some decent suede Alcantara material here and over here. The dash has a soft touch injection molded plastic with some faux stitching. There is lots of hard touch plastic over here, which again is for the augmented reality heads-up display, which looks really cool. It projects lots of symbols and whatnot to make it feel very, very high-tech and futuristic. I do appreciate how there are actual manual traditional air vents where it has a toggle where you can manipulate where you want the airflow to go. So that's pretty nice. The GPS has Google built in, which is fantastic. You can see your heated seats are here. Sadly, my test car is missing cooled seats, which shockingly it irritates the crap out of me considering the Q6 that I just had a few months ago did have the cooled seats. It's part of an extra charge option, but my test car has an upgraded leather that doesn't allow for cooled seats. So find that to be incredibly annoying how Audi kind of, shafts you there, which is very, very frustrating. The interface here is relatively quick, snappy, and easy to use. You can go into your settings here, of course. You can adjust a couple of things. It takes a little bit of getting used to, but once you get used to it, it certainly works fairly nicely. There's your heads-up display there. You can adjust the orientation. You can adjust the content, what it shows. You can also adjust your interior lighting. Going to the exterior lighting, you can change the Audi signature look. There's like 8 different signature DRLs that you can choose from, which is kind of cool. Just kind of a little overwhelming as well. You can see there's your interior lighting. I love the ambient lighting in this car. You can literally change the line, you can change the surfaces, and the other cool thing is when you turn on your signal, you can see it actually shows you the signal on each side of the dash. That's something that we first saw on the ID4, although Audi goes a step further by including the turn signal there. So that's kind of an interesting touch. I think that's, certainly showing some attention to detail, which I really like. If you push that, there's your drive mode selector. There's 5 different modes, including an individual. This car does have an air suspension, which can basically raise and lower the suspension if you like. You can see I changed the interior color there, which looks pretty cool. I think Audi does a really great job with their ambient lighting without it being too overwhelming, which is really nice. Some brands go a little bit too far and beyond. When you put the vehicle into reverse, you can see there's your full 360 camera. It gives you trajectory, distance markers. It even shows you how far away the object is in inches or feet. So that's kind of really nice. The quality and resolution is fantastic. You can kind of do like a perimeter scan around the car if you'd like. You can give you different views and whatnot. So this is all pretty much what you expect from an Audi. They've always had really good technology and really good camera quality resolution. So that's, nothing to complain about. Obviously, you can see down here, you have some big storage areas. You have your wireless phone charging pad right there. You have 2 USB-C charging ports, a 12-volt power outlet, an actual knob for volume. Your start-stop button is over here. And then like I showed you earlier, this is your drive mode or your gear selector. You basically push this up to go to drive, push it down to go to push it up to go to reverse, down to go to drive, down again to go to the engine braking, and then push the P button to go into park. I don't love the piano black plastic. It's already showing scratches and fingerprints there, so that's kind of annoying. You do have some nice suede Alcantara here, but this is gonna look nasty after a few years. So I would have preferred leather. Open it up, you can see it has a pretty decent storage bin compartment area. That's also nice and padded. You can slightly adjust that. It doesn't move forward and back though, it just goes up and down, so kind of keep that in mind. The seats, like I said earlier, these are the upgraded premium Napa leather with the diamond quilted stitching. They feel pretty comfortable and supportive. The leather feels high quality, which is what you'd expect. If I want to open this up, you can see big glove box. It's damped and it's lined with felt. Offers a lot of additional storage. You do have an auto dimming rearview mirror, no digital camera rearview mirror. However, you have some LED map lighting. There's like a woven material for the headliner, and you also have this big panoramic sunroof, which, as you can see, also opens up to vent air, which is nice. A lot of luxury EV SUVs don't have an opening and closing panoramic sunroof. You can see that's with it open all the way. There's a built-in wind deflector. This is a nice feature. It's standard on this car, so you don't have to pay extra for it, unlike some competitors which make you pay extra for it. So overall, the interior, it certainly feels high-tech, futuristic. I don't love the way the digital stage looks with these kind of extra unused real estate plastic, but at least the quality of the resolution is among the best. The build quality of the interior, also, there's not a single squeak and rattle. It's just Audi is using slightly cheaper materials, which I think is a little annoying considering the price tag of this car. But if you guys are coming from the, a Q5, whatever the previous generation, this is definitely going to feel like a huge upgrade in terms of tech. Visibility is good, and the interior lighting in here certainly looks very, very fancy and upscale. But let's go ahead and hop into the backseat area. I can show you guys what that space is like. Now, as you can see, just like the Q6 e-tron, the SQ6 has the same 37.5 inches of legroom back here. You also have the same upgraded Napa leather with the contrast diamond quilting and contrast stitching. You have heated seats back here. Material quality is the same as the front, where this is a slightly padded, slightly cheap rubberized feeling material. Nice Alcantara here with the contrast stitch. It's all hard touch plastic here with the aluminum accented door handles. The seats, as you can see, they do fold down to create almost a completely flat floor, which is nice. And if you want, sadly, there is no recline function. Some competitors offer that. But once you get back here, you can see the space is pretty usable. This is basically my driving position at 5'7". I can get back here. There's a good amount of foot space. There is not a completely flat floor, because remember, this platform, while it is their new PPE, Premium Platform Electric, there's also a PPC version for internal combustion, so it has to serve double duty. You do have rear seat air vents back here, your own third zone climate control, along with 2 storage cubbies over here. I can easily cross my legs and get pretty comfortable back here, which is nice. The headrests are also comfortable, and they provide good padding to rest your head on. If I fold this down, there's an armrest with 2 cup holders, and then you can see headroom space is actually pretty good considering there is a panoramic sunroof that takes up the space. There's no manual retractable sunshades, which would have been a great feature to find, but overall, if you guys are basically looking for the electric equivalent of a Q5, the Q6 has pretty similar amounts of interior space. So here we are back behind the wheel of the all-new Audi Q6 e-tron. However, this time we are in the more higher performance SQ6. The ordinary Q6, however, certainly was no slouch. Audi continues to offer the regular Q6 with either a single motor rear or dual motor all-wheel drive. The SQ6, however, only comes with the dual motor all-wheel drive powertrain. They all share the same 100 kilowatt hour battery pack. Remember, this vehicle is the first electric Audi to be riding on their new PPE, their Premium Platform Electric architecture, which it also shares with the Porsche Macan EV. Now, this particular one that we're driving is basically the Audi equivalent to a Porsche Macan 4S electric, of course. So we have about 53 more horsepower versus the regular Q6 e-tron Quattro we tested a couple months ago. However, we do have the same torque, 631 foot-pounds. Audi claims this model should hit 60 in 4.1 seconds. Considering we got 4.35 in the regular Q6, I expect that number is far conservative. So to get the best time, you basically have it in dynamic. You turn the stability control into its sports setting, and then you basically brake torque it, and it'll engage the launch control. And remember, it has Quattro all-wheel drive. Oof. Yes, this definitely feels faster. 3.75 seconds. Wow, 3.75 is pretty impressive. That's about a half a second faster than the regular Q6. Remember, I got 4.35 in that vehicle, and it was certainly no slouch, so 3.75 is a nice improvement. And it doesn't surprise me at all that it's around 0.4 seconds faster than what Audi claims. The Germans just tend to be super conservative. Now, obviously, a lot of electric SUVs are fast. So, this being the SQ6 model, I think it has the appropriate amount of power. Not too crazy, but also it gives you that little bit of extra spice that typically Audi owners who buy an S model, because remember, the S models are supposed to kind of be in between the regular and the RS models. Let's try another run here. This time I'm not gonna launch it. I'm just gonna floor it. Oh! 4.05 seconds there. Now that's with it more going slightly uphill. I don't particularly think the launch control makes a difference. We'll try it one more time up ahead where it's more level to see if it actually, gets a consistent 3.7 time, but this is appropriately fast. In fact, I hear Audi is working on an RS Q6 version of this car, which essentially means it's probably gonna be similar to the Macan EV Turbo, which I know Porsche with their crazy names. That model will hit 60 in around 3 seconds, so I suspect that should be entirely possible if Audi decides to do an RS version. Now, the beauty about being an all electric is there's no gears, you just put your foot down, it's really fast. And I also enjoy the fake sounds. This car definitely feels more dynamic than the Q6. Remember, we're on summer performance tires, 21-inch wheels, it's a fatter 285 at the back, 255s, I believe, at the front. And this car, even though it is in its sports setting right now, dynamic, it has a really nice ride quality. The adaptive air suspension is included on this car as well, and it just does a great job at soaking up the bumps. The suspension also stays relatively flat when I take corners here. You are reminded that this is a 5,300-pound SUV, but because it's electric, the battery pack is down low, it lowers the center of gravity. The steering is typical Audi numb. It doesn't have much in terms of feel, but it is relatively quick as well. This is definitely feeling a lot more spicy than the regular Q6. I was kind of not enjoying the regular Q6 on how it drove. It just felt a little bit too plain Jane. Yes. Oh, that's fun. That is definitely fun. I mean, if you guys are replacing a Q5 to go to this, or even like an SQ5, this is significantly faster than an SQ5. I think the best time I ever gotten one of those was like 4.7 or 4.8 seconds, something like that. So this is almost a second faster than that SQ5 you could be replacing to go for a car like this. So I'm pretty impressed. I like the overall power of the SQ6. Let's try one more run here. This time we won't brake torque it. Oh, yes. 3.8 seconds there, so it does slow it down a smidge. You basically get 1.1 second knocked off the 0 to 60 time by using the launch control. So, but all day long, under 4 seconds is very impressive. And this car's dynamics, the handling, the feel, the ride quality, it's all basically what you expect from an Audi product, so I'm pretty pleased with that. But let's go ahead and switch the drive mode selector to the individual setting. This is basically where I've custom tailored it to essentially give me the softer ride that I'm looking for, but give me the performance for the I guess the electric motor, of course, for the steering response. You can also set that to be more of a comfort-oriented steering if you want. That's the beauty about individual. And I also noticed that Audi finally has a one-pedal drive feature. If you put it into the B mode here, as we're stopped because there's road work in front of me, it actually will show hold. It'll bring the vehicle down to a full stop. You can also use the paddles here to control 2 different levels of regen, but that's not full one-pedal drive. You have to put it into the B mode. So I'm glad to see that Volkswagen, Audi, Porsche has finally adopted the one-pedal drive and giving you the option to use it, because not everybody wants to use it. But it's definitely a nice feature. In terms of the visibility, I can see out of the front and the side and the rear actually pretty nicely. The long dash you have to kind of get used to, but the augmented reality heads-up display is pretty cool in that it shows symbols and it also will expand its view and reach depending on what it has showing to you. View out of the sides are also good. The view out of the back is not compromised. There's no digital camera rearview mirror, sadly. Audi does not offer, a lot of German brands don't offer that. And then of course their digital stage infotainment system. While some of you may not like how it looks, it is effective in just giving you all the latest tech and gadgets and gizmos that you're looking for. There's with the Apple CarPlay, of course, connected. It's a pretty nice size. The icons are nice and large. The graphics are fantastic. I don't love the new virtual cockpit instrument cluster though. It has less adjustments and less customization as the previous model. Like I can't put the GPS function, which you can still get Google Maps. You can't get it over here anymore, but it does show you a really nice view of the driver assistance, where it shows you what's in front of you, whether you're on the brakes. I also find it interesting how when you signal right or left, it shows you the turn signal there and on the corners of the LED ambient lighting in this vehicle, which I think is pretty cool. It's also really quiet in here. I didn't hear a single squeak and rattle. So even though the material quality in here has definitely gone a little downhill, feels a little cheaper. The build quality still feels very tight. I'm also sitting here getting a massage. There's 3 different types of massage. My favorite is the relaxed massage. It works well. I'm really irritated that this model that we're driving doesn't have ventilated seats. The Q6 with the beige interior that I tested a couple months ago had the warm weather package with the ventilated seats, but on the SQ6, if you want ventilated seats, your only option is the black leather. If you want the red leather with ventilated seats, it's not offered. So I really want Audi to stop doing that. Stop limiting customers with ventilated seats on, the interior color options. It's a luxury brand. You should be able to get that, especially if you're going to be paying those premium prices for a vehicle like this. But in terms of range, We started out with a full charge almost. It was showing around 268 miles. This model, remember, loses about 20 miles of electric range compared to the Q6. And in the Q6, I averaged around 260-ish miles of real-world range. In this car, I got around 240 miles of range. So it did drop a little bit, and that's driving in more ideal weather conditions in the 60s, maybe even the 70s. So yes, you're gonna have to pay for the range a little bit in real-world driving. This is, again, a faster charging EV that runs on the 800-volt architecture, but this is kind of where I was hoping Audi would have offered a bigger battery pack to give you over 300 miles of range. Get the regular Q6 if you guys want the best range. Now, trying to decide between the SQ6 and the Q6, there's about an $8,000 price difference. You definitely get better performance with this car, but some would argue that half a second isn't necessarily worth the extra $8,000. The car does look better on the outside. It handles a little bit better, a little sportier to drive, but it's really going to come down to if that matters to you, if the extra speed, the extra performance, that, you know, extra special factor matters to you. Although if an RX Q6 comes out, it'll make this one even less special. But overall, I do like the way the SQ6 drives more than the Q6. It is an expensive proposition. The range is competitive to slightly below average. But it is definitely nice to see Audi giving us a brand new product. Remember, there's also the Porsche equivalent. The Porsche is going to be around $12,000 more expensive than this car. So you are getting kind of a Porsche at a bargain a little bit if you look at it from that angle. But just keep in mind the competitive set for this class is fierce. And I'm not entirely sure Audi has done enough here to make this model stand out in the way that they want to stand out. It's a good option. It's just make sure you also check out the competition, which oftentimes is also a lot less expensive, as long as you're okay with giving up the luxury badge. So after spending a full week with the brand new 2025 Audi SQ6 e-tron, I have to say, just like the Q6 e-tron in which this model is based, there are a lot of positives about this vehicle. Obviously, it's a new generation of Audi vehicles, and they desperately need it because their sales have been slumping in the US, especially last year. In fact, Audi only managed to sell around 966 Q6 e-trons in the US last year, although that number comes with an asterisk because it wasn't on sale for very long. So far, as of Q1 2025, Audi has managed to sell around 3,200 Q6 e-tron models, which I'm assuming also includes the SQ6. So clearly they are picking up some steam, but only time will tell to see if buyers are going to flock to this new model, because as you guys saw, the performance of the SQ6 is certainly impressive. 0 to 60 in 3.7 seconds makes this around a second faster than the previous generation SQ5. If you guys are looking to replace that, remember this has over 500 horsepower, so that's really impressive. The refinement of this model is also really good. Just like the Q6, it has one of the best ride qualities in the industry. It has better handling because it has more grip, a better programming for the steering and the suspension, of course. The seats are comfortable, but I hate the fact how it doesn't have ventilated seats. The massage function works well. Their digital stage infotainment system, their new virtual cockpit, whatever, is very much an improvement in terms of its graphics, in terms of the speed, in terms of the wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. It just works more reliably. It looks more impressive. I just don't love the way the digital stage system looks with its 3 separate screens. Again, if you guys skip the Prestige package, you won't have the actual passenger screen. But the new layout, once you get past that, certainly is an improvement tech-wise. I'm just not sure it's an improvement in terms of luxury. Build quality, thankfully, is good. Everything fits together nicely, not a single squeak and rattle. It just has some slightly cheaper materials, which I find to be unacceptable considering the positioning and price point of this car, especially if you guys are looking at the SQ6 models. The back seat is certainly spacious. The cargo area is also very spacious. I like how there's a front trunk. And again, this is one of the quicker charging EVs. So you could use this on a road trip, but remember, I was only getting between 240 to 250-ish miles of real world range on this particular model. So go for the regular Q6 if you guys want better range. You'll lose around a half a second for 0 to 60, but I think for most people, that's not going to be a big deal. Now, if you guys are interested in purchasing the SQ6, Audi charges roughly $8,000 more to go to this model from a Q6 e-tron, because you can get into a regular Q6 e-tron with rear-wheel drive for around $63,800. Add $2,000 if you guys want all-wheel drive. The SQ6 is going to start at around $72,900, so that's a pretty hefty, price jump over the Q6 e-tron. Now keep in mind, You can also look at this car as a bargain because the Porsche Macan EV 4S, which is the equivalent of this, is around $85,000. So there's a good $12,000 price decrease, and you have basically similar performance, similar space, different tech, different design, obviously. Now, my test car with the Prestige package adds $6,400. Add another $650 for the black optics package, $1,000 for the fine Napa leather interior. The upgraded 21-inch wheels are also an extra $1,000. With destination and the color upcharge, you're looking at around $84,000 for this particular example here. I know 85 grand is a lot of money, especially when you can essentially get a non-luxury EV that has basically more range, similar charging, maybe not as much luxury, although this interior doesn't really feel like it's a big step up over what you get from several new Volkswagen products. But again, there is something to be said about this vehicle, and it is, you know, typical that Audi build quality is really strong there. So my recommendation, I personally would just go with a Q6 e-tron, save yourself that $8,000, replace the wheels because I do like the wheels better on this model. You'll still enjoy really quick 0 to 60 times, a slightly better range, but I am curious to see where Audi is going to go next because they are launching a plethora of new models within the next 24 months, and this vehicle here is essentially designed to be a replacement for your SQ5. Is it a full replacement? That really depends on you. If you want something that's faster, more comfortable with better tech, similar interior space, yes it is. However, it is losing that visceral experience. It also doesn't look quite as good, I think, as the previous generation SQ5, and I'm hoping I'll be able to test out a regular SQ5, a gas-powered one, the new one, at some point later this year. But with all that said, hope you guys have enjoyed my full overview on the brand new 2025 Audi SQ6 e-tron. If you're also looking to see the latest cars I'm testing, be sure to follow me on Instagram at redline_reviews, like us on Facebook, and as always, guys, please keep subscribing to the Redline Reviews YouTube channel for all the latest reviews. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you all in the next video.